Hey everyone, this is Neil with Wasted Paper here, bringing you another fountain pen review. This time we're looking at a pen from Monteverde. I showed this pen in an unboxing video on my channel. You can find it here. This is from their Trees of the World collection. This is called Avenue of the Baobabs. I also heard this pronounced Baobabs. I don't know the best way. I'm going to say Baobabs for the rest of this video though. You have artwork that's reminiscent of the tree that this is based on. Underneath the slipcover, you have this green box with silver embossing for their logo. Inside of there, we have this pen, of course. Underneath the pen, though, you have the Trees of the World inspiration right here, and it talks about the tree itself. And you have instructions and two cartridges. One will be black and one will be blue. When they gave me that package, they asked me if there was any pens specifically from their site that I was interested in, and this one really, really stood out to me. It's this nice brown with some awesome swirls in it, and I don't really know anything prior about their Trees of the World collection. This has that wood accent. There's all sorts of details, I guess. We'll just get straight into it. The top and bottom finial are both flat and rounded finials. Down from that, you have their clip, which is pretty easy to pull on and actuate. It doesn't feel too stiff by no means. I will point out the detail here. There is no ring for this clip, so it's put on from the inside, which I always like that. You got to keep that one piece look to your cap. Down from that, you have this nice ring of wood right here. I looked up the description on their website and it says this is walnut, and then you have the cap bands that go around it. Down from that, you have more of the body, and there is an engraving on here. It's pretty subtle, but if I get the right light, you should be able to see it. It says Monteverde, USA, Trees of the World. It takes 2 full rotations to take the cap off. The initial step down from the cap right here is pretty drastic, but they have smoothed it out so there's no real texture to it. It just smoothly lets your hand glide down. The threads right here are also rounded, so there's no sharpness to those. And then your grip section right here, it has a flare out at the end, but it's very, very subtle. It does taper down and then push out right there. Looking at the nib, you have their logo in the center, and it says Monteverde, USA. And one thing I like a lot about their nibs is they cut that same mountain pattern right here, and it just looks super cool on a nib because it's so unique. You never see anything like that. This is paired with a plastic feed that says 6 on it because that is the nib size. And then on the side right there, it also says Monteverde. Unscrewing the pen, you have metal threads right there and an unbranded converter, which is a bit surprising. I'm going to see if it's the kind I like. It is. So usually with their pens, and I want to say all of them I've got are this way. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, but it has a threaded converter. When it comes to posting, the pen does post, but there's really no feeling or sensation to let you know you have the cap all the way on the body. It's not the end of the world, but it's really something I prefer. I'd like to have some sort of indicator, but this just gets tight right at the end, and it's not the most tight. It's not going anywhere, but if I was to tap this, I can feel it just loosen just enough, and you can see it barely. As for the ink today, we're going to be going with Private Reserve Sepia. I thought it'd go really well with this pen, and I didn't really have anything that looked like this exact shade, so I wanted to pick it up for myself. As for my writing sample today, we're going to be going with my Tomoe River notebooks. I recommend these all the time. They're really small notebooks with really good paper. I like them a lot. As for the flex, this is with no pressure, with, none, with, none, with. The writing sample went really well. I will say there was a bit of feedback with this, not a ton, but surprisingly a little bit that I'm not used to filling. Again, I probably should expect that because I do write a little heavy-handed, but I like fine nibs so much because being left-handed, you're laying down a bit less ink, so it's less likely to like smear and spread everywhere. But when looking at this, I would say I really had no trips or anything like that, no real dry spots or anything. The flex has the tiniest bit. It's definitely laying down a lot more ink. You can tell how dark it gets right here versus the spot next to it. When having these two side by side, you can see that this is definitely a bit thicker. A lot of that's from extra ink, but you can see the shading here too, which is really nice. The feed kept up just fine when I was scribbling right there. And then on this last spot right here, when I went fast, you can see there's really no skips or anything on here either. In short, I think it writes really well. There's that tiny bit of feedback, but your feed has no issue. All the lettering went how it should. And using this ink a little bit more, I like it. I like the shading. As for my size comparison, we're going to be using a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Custom A23. With all of these side by side, I really get like a stepladder vibe. It's just barely longer as they go down. Looking at these width-wise though, the body of the Baobabs one, it's definitely wider than the other two. Uncapped now, it's nearly identical to the Lamy Safari. When looking at them side by side posted, I would say the Baobabs is clearly the longest one here, but I think it's a bit too long posted. My favorite posted pen is the Custom 823, so this being a decent amount longer and wider, it's a bit too big for me like that. It will accommodate some people that want that, for sure, but for me, it's too much. The MSRP for this pen is $115, but Gold Spot Pens has this on a pretty substantial sale right now for $57.50, and that is at the time of filming this. It could change, it could sell out, but I wanted to let you know about that price. As far as nib options go, you have the OmniFlex option, which I've done a review on a pen with that nib here. You have fine, medium, extra fine, broad, and a 1.1 millimeter stub. Some fun facts when I was looking up this tree I want to share with you is the species of the tree is over 200 million years old, and people have said that they can live up to 3,000 years, and they can grow up to be 100 feet tall, which is just enormous. One little additional fun fact, in Lion King, Rafiki's tree that he lives in those movies, it's called the Tree of Life.
My tree.
That is one of these trees. All that being said, where does this pen land for me? I would say it's pretty good. I enjoy the look of it, and I actually like the story behind it. I would say if you're a Lion King fan, it'd be hard to miss out on this one in my opinion. I think this is probably the only pen that's going to give you that connection, at least as of right now. For that sale price on Goldspot though, I would say it's definitely worth that. And if you like the look of these browns and swirls and you really like nature, I think this pen is definitely the one for you. It's one that's unique, and I don't have any pens that have like wood in them, so it's nice to have something stand out that is so different from everything else you see going on in the pen world.
Different's good. I like different.
All that being said, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. Okay. We're going to be going with my Tomoe River notebooks. I recommend these. Oh, come on, man. Okay. My chair's creaking. What are you doing? Looking at these widthwise. Stop. Okay. Looking at these widthwise, though, the body of the tree of the. Oh, come on.